Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new S.H.Figuarts WWE Superstar Series The Rock figure from Tamasi Nations and Bandai. Now this figure comes in a window box style of packaging. You've got the figure clearly displayed. On the window you've got an image of the Rock's Brahma Bull, and it says if you can smell what the Rock is cooking. Up in the top left corner you've got the WWE logo. Then you have an image of the figure, and down below you have the name of the character. On the sides of the packaging, you just have more images of the figure. And then on the back of the packaging, you have even more images of the figure showing off accessories and poses that you can put it in. And then a bunch of writing I really can't read. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging. Now, first of all, you do get a little instruction sheet that shows you how to switch out the hands and the head and everything. So this figure has 5 different pairs of hands. You get a pair of closed-fisted hands, which are the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get these what I call wrestling grip hands. They actually have articulation on the fingers. So all the fingers move together, but you can open and close the hand a bit there so he can grip onto an opponent while wrestling. So I like that. The thumb does not move. And then you get a pair of just normal grip hands for holding the microphone that he comes with. Then you get a pair of thumbs-up hands and a pair of pointing hands. Switching out the hands is easy. You just pop off the hand that you want to replace. You've got the little ball hinge peg on the arm and the hole in the hand, and then you just plug in the hand you want to replace it with. And it should be pretty easy to get it to snap on, and once you do, it fits nice and tight. He comes with a microphone, and this is all done with just black plastic. Now, I'm a little surprised they didn't put the WWE logo on the microphone, but otherwise I think it looks pretty true to what we see on the WWE wrestling shows like Raw and SmackDown. And as long as you have the grip hand on the figure, he'll hold the mic nice and tight. And then finally, the figure comes with 4 different head sculpts. And I think all 4 look pretty true to The Rock. Now, this is The Rock before he shaved his hair off in his earlier wrestling days. You get one that has the raised eyebrow, the people's eyebrow. Then you've got a head with the sunglasses on. Then you have a head sculpt that has kind of an annoyed, angry look to it. And then the final head is a screaming type head. And to switch out the head sculpts, once again, it's easy. You just pop off the head, and then you've got the little ball joint, and then you just pop on the head that you want to replace it with. And it should snap on there pretty good and fits nice and tight. And I should note the head sculpt with the sunglasses are not removable. So the figure itself, I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, I'm not a big wrestling figure fan. I don't have a lot of wrestling figures, and I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. However, I did used to watch WWE all the time back in the day when The Rock and Stone Cold were wrestling. And I think this is a pretty good representation of The Rock in his earlier wrestling days. Like I said, this is before he shaved his hair off and before he had the tattoo all down his arm. He just had the one Brahma Bull tattoo on his right arm, and that's represented here, and I like the detailing with that. I like the skin tone on the figure. And my first impression when I looked at the figure overall was that he looked a little bit scrawny, but then I remembered that The Rock is actually much more muscular looking nowadays than he was when he first started wrestling. So I actually think this is a pretty good representation body-wise for how The Rock looked back in the day. And then he's got the shoulder pads for the people's elbow, and he's got the signature black wrestling trunks with his name on the front, and that's done with metallic silver. And then on the back, he's got the Brahma Bull, and then he's got the black knee pads and the black boots. So this figure stands about 6¼ inches tall. And here's a comparison with a couple other WWE Mattel figures. Sorry, I don't have a Mattel Rock figure to give you a comparison, but we do have Hulk Hogan and Brock Lesnar, and you can see the Mattel figures are much taller than the S.H.Figuarts. And here's a comparison with a couple of NECA Toys Rocky 7-inch figures, and like with the WWE Mattel ones, this Rock figure is much smaller. Here's a comparison with a couple Hasbro figures, the Marvel Legends, the Raft Spider-Man figure, and the Rogue One Jyn Erso figure. Here's a comparison with the Mafex Dawn of Justice Superman figure. And finally, here's a comparison with the DC Collectibles Icon 6-inch Superman and Black Adam figure. I don't know, what do you think? So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and you get movement with the entire neck, so he can look down about that much, and he can look up about that much. You can also pivot the head to the left and the right. Arms are attached, so you can pull the arms out a bit from the socket to get more movement. So you've got rotation. It's attached with a ball type joint, it looks like. And so you've got rotation there at the shoulder. You've got a butterfly type joint, so you've got back and forth movement. He can get his arm out good, and he's got good rotation there at the shoulder as well. He does not have a true bicep swivel though. He's got a double hinge type elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. And then he's got swivels at the wrist, and he's got the hinges on the hand, so he's got good up and down movement there. He's got a midsection joint, so you can rotate there at the midsection. You can pivot to the left and the right a bit. He can crunch down pretty good, and he can look back pretty good as well. You do get a little bit of a gap there between the upper body and the lower body when you have him look back. He's also got a waist swivel, so he's got rotation there, and again, you can pivot to the sides there a bit. Then with the legs, you can kind of pull them out from the socket again, so you've got some more movement. He can get his leg forward good. He can do his leg kind of out and back. And with this one, depending on how you turn the legs, he can do the splits about that much. Now, you don't have a true thigh swivel, but you do have that inner kind of joint there, so he does have rotation up high there. Then he's got a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. And then for the feet, he's got up and down movement, and he's got rotation, and he does have some pivot, plus he has toe articulation and no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this figure. Like I said before, I'm not a huge wrestling figure fan, so I'm not really the one to give you an opinion on whether this is a much better figure than what we've seen from other companies like Mattel or Jakks Pacific. But I do think this is a nice looking figure. It is much smaller than those other wrestling figures, so these aren't really going to fit in. These S.H.Figuarts aren't going to really fit in with your other wrestling figures if you are a big collector of these types of figures. But on its own right, and if you're into just 6-inch figures, I think this is definitely a nice looking figure. Looks pretty true to The Rock from his early days, and has some pretty good accessories and everything. So this figure has seen a limited release. I believe the only place you can get it right now is WrestlingFigs.com. It will be eventually available everywhere that sells S.H.Figuarts, places like Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery up at ToyNewsEye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.